I am a very big fan of rhythm games. I don't think I've done a good job of keeping that a secret, and as a massive rhythm game enthusiast, I consider myself to be very, very lucky to be living in an era where basically every major studio is putting out some kind of rhythm game, or has already put out several. Konami has DDR, Ubisoft has Just Dance, Nintendo had Rhythm Heaven, Activision had Guitar Hero and Rock Band, Square Enix has Rhythm Theater, Epic Games has Fortnite Festival, Sony had Parappa, Namdai Bamco has Taiko no Tatsujin, Xbox tried to murder Hi-Fi Rush, and Taito is running Groove Coaster into the ground. And that's just the big guys. The indie rhythm scene is absolutely overrun with some of the most unique and interesting games I have ever had the pleasure of playing, and it is everything I can do to keep from buying all of them. If you are a fan of rhythm games, traditional or unorthodox, modern or retro, single button or 4-button, multi-genre or purist, indie or AAA, and everything in between, no matter what poison you pick, you are absolutely spoiled for choice. And if you are a fan of both rhythm games and the guys that made Sonic the Hedgehog, holy shit, dude, they have so many of these things. Starting off with a weird one, Samba De Amigo is a game about a monkey who plays maracas. Ha, yeah, okay guys, what's next? A movie about a dog that plays basketball? Holy shit! Originally released in Japanese arcades before getting ported over to the Sega Dreamcast and later the Nintendo Wii, and then eventually getting a sequel on the Nintendo Switch and MetaQuest, Samba de Amigo is a pair of motion-controlled rhythm games that take heavy inspiration from Latin American culture, with aesthetics, character designs, and songs taken from all over Central and South America. And while the game's cultural accuracy and ability to respectfully represent the cultures it takes inspiration from is questionable at best, it'd be pretty hard to argue that the game itself isn't insanely fun and that the song list isn't full of absolute bangers. The game is played primarily through motion controls, with the option to switch to a 6-button layout if you're a coward, and while both control schemes are a lot of fun, the motion controls really make this game something special. If you're playing the game to its absolute fullest and with the intended control scheme, you're gonna be swinging your arms wildly, dancing all over the place, and actually working up a bit of a sweat. The motion controls are just great, and they honestly really help you get into the mindset of someone who absolutely sucks shit at maracas. Especially if you can find an official arcade cabinet or get your hands on the original Dreamcast maraca controllers. And considering that this game came out in a pre-Guitar Hero world, I mean, it's no wonder that it did so well in arcades and cemented itself as a bit of a cult classic. Especially considering the downright phenomenal song list. The songs in Samba de Amigo are incredible and do a great job of providing the player with a long list of great music that would make you want to shake your maracas even if you weren't playing a video game. An achievement that is only possible thanks to the dev team's commitment to primarily filling the game with popular Latin American music instead of the usual North American rock and Japanese pop that traditionally populate mainstream rhythm games. Which is a really cool decision, even if none of the songs included could really be considered actual samba music. As a result, Samba de Amigo might not have your favorite Billboard Top 100 songs or even a list of songs that us stupid Americans are gonna recognize, but it does have a very unique song list that directly plays into its equally unique theme, and I think that that has a lot of value, and it allowed the original Samba de Amigo to further set itself apart from the other games in its genre. It's just a shame that Sega chose to abandon the unifying theme with the release of Samba de Amigo Party Central, but hey, at least we'll always have Escape from the City and TikTok by Kesha. Space Channel 5 is a game about an outer space news network on Channel 5, and Donkey Kong is a game about a monkey. The game sees you playing as Ulala, a stylish on-the-scene reporter who travels the galaxy searching for her next big scoop and saving the world through the power of dance and also a personal firearm. It's definitely one of the more unorthodox entries on the list, as it is the rare example of a rhythm game with no actual button prompts or timing indicators, which makes this game insanely hard. Like a brick! Instead of staring at an endless stream of abstract symbols and pressing the corresponding buttons in time with their movements like most other rhythm games, Space Channel 5 has you watch your opponent dance and attempt to recreate their movements with perfect timing and accuracy. It's kind of like Parappa the Rapper. Huh? It's kind of like Simon Says. Oh, I know that one! Space Channel 5 is a lot of fun with great music, likable characters, a fun story, a gorgeous retro-futurist aesthetic, and a unique take on one of my favorite genres. But it's also brutally difficult with no room for error, and I am probably never gonna beat the first level. Hatsune Miku Project Diva is a long-running series of 4 button rhythm games featuring everyone's favorite silly Wi-Fi girl. You've seen her on buses, you've seen her on ramen, you've seen her in a Domino's commercial for some fucking reason, and now you get to see her in a video game. Of course, putting Miku in a rhythm game makes perfect sense, and that's probably why she has more games than GTA. I mean, it's either that or the fact that it takes 1 billion years to make these games now. As a relatively simple 4-ish button rhythm game played using a traditional controller, unless you're in the arcade, Project Diva is one of the more conventional games on the list, but that doesn't stop it from being one of the most fun. This is a series of incredibly colorful and stylish games with a long list of fan-favorite songs, a low barrier to entry, a nearly untouchable skill ceiling, great music videos, a wealth of unlockables and side content, an Ulala costume, and most importantly, my best friend. The franchise has seen massive success with millions of sales and has had a profound impact on both the gaming and Vocaloid industries, and it isn't even Sega's only Hatsune Miku game. Hatsune Miku Project Mirai is technically a spin-off of the original Project Diva franchise, but the gameplay is unique enough that it might as well be its own game, especially if we're talking about the original release. Project Mirai maintains many of the same mechanics and features as the mainline Project Diva games, but with scaled down visuals and simpler maps in order to run on the 3DS's less powerful hardware, which is only a little embarrassing because the series started on the fucking PSP, and while the visuals and gameplay are absolutely still recognizable as Hatsune Miku and Project Diva respectively, the new art style and simplified gameplay do create a distinct experience from the rest of the Project Diva franchise and provide genuine value to picking up one of these games to play alongside the main series titles, especially with the 3DS's dual screens, portability, and stereoscopic 3D taken into account. Of course, I'm rarely, if ever, gonna pick Project Mirai over Project Diva because I own a PS Vita and a Switch, so portability is not an issue, but it is a cute novelty and a fun alternative, and it is always fun to see more and more games make their way to the 3DS. Especially if you're one of those people who keeps flooding my Instagram feed with low-quality 3DS nostalgia bait. Colorful Stage Project Sekai is a Sega-developed mobile phone rhythm gacha game that is also about Hatsune Miku, because apparently Sonic and Miku just really like each other. The game is split into 3 parts: the gacha system, where you exchange paid and free virtual currency to gamble for pictures of your favorite characters, the story mode, where you read through a collection of short-form episodic visual novels about the game's characters and lore, and the actual rhythm game. Guess which part of the game I spent the most time playing? I honestly couldn't care less about the gacha aspect, but the rhythm game and visual novels are a lot of fun. The game is basically Magic Tiles, so you guys remember Magic Tiles, but with Vocaloid songs and music videos. A series of tiles move towards you to the beat of the song, and you need to press each one before they leave the screen. It's not anything particularly unique or groundbreaking, but it is a solid game and a fun experience, and it certainly helps that the track list is primarily comprised of fan-favorite Vocaloid songs. At the very least, Project Sekai has an addictive and engaging gameplay loop that really benefits from the convenience of being on your smartphone, and I have been having a lot of fun playing through the rhythm game portion of Project Sekai. But honestly, the visual novels are really where it's at. They're a little corny and cliche, but are also surprisingly heartfelt and engaging, with likable characters, exciting plots, and genuine emotion. And I have spent more time reading them than I have spent playing the actual game. Did you see that coming? Yeah, me neither. The game as a whole is honestly a really fun experience, and if you're a fan of Hatsune Miku, a rhythm game enthusiast looking for a quality portable title, a degenerate gambling addict, or a fan of visual novels, Project Sekai is definitely worth your time, and it's technically cheaper than therapy. Also, apparently it's getting a movie now? $5 says it sucks. Yakuza / Like a Dragon is probably my all-time favorite video game franchise. It is a series of open-world action-adventure beat-em-ups about big, sexy, muscular muscle men beating the ever-loving shit out of each other to compensate for how badly they want to kiss each other instead. It is a series of downright crazy games full of ridiculous moments and bombastic spectacle, but at the center of it all is a heartfelt and deeply human story about love and loss, family and friendship, hope and heartache, and the universal romances and tragedies inherent to the human condition. And it's also a game where you can do this. It's also just not a rhythm game. I don't know if I made that clear. But it does come with one built in. Yakuza is a franchise infamous for its incessant need to betray its own serious tone with a constant barrage of ridiculous side quests, silly minigames, and general distractions, and perhaps the most famous of all of these is its karaoke mode. Introduced in Yakuza 3 and included in damn near every future title is a full-fledged 4-button rhythm game complete with animated music videos, vocal performances by the main cast, and a long list of iconic and beloved original songs. Maybe not enough songs to justify a full-fledged standalone release, but definitely enough to fill out a vinyl record that I really want. Much like all of the series' incredible side content, the karaoke minigame does a great job of breaking up the game's atmospheric tension and adds a good couple hours to every playthrough. Between its iconic songs, its solid gameplay, its hilarious visuals, and the inherent comedy of making a bunch of big, strong, muscular criminals do this, the Yakuza series' most popular minigame has managed to find widespread love from both die-hard fans of the series and also the internet at large, and has managed to cement itself as Sega's most iconic rhythm game. Which is crazy, because this one has Miku.